The Philippines in the Bible, the forgotten nation called by God. In this video, we look at ancient Bible prophecies that might secretly refer to the Philippines, a beautiful country made up of more than 7,000 tropical islands. It's a land full of wonder, culture, and possibly a special role in God's plan. Imagine a place that once had never heard of the gospel, now becoming part of God's bigger story of salvation. Could the ends of the earth mentioned in the book of Isaiah actually be talking about the Philippines? We'll explore surprising clues that might change how we see both biblical history and the Philippines' spiritual destiny. For a long time, the Philippines has been known for its rich culture and stunning nature. But within its mountains, beaches, and forests, there may be hints pointing to a forgotten part of biblical prophecy. In the Bible, islands and the ends of the earth were often seen as far-off lands where God's name had not yet been heard, places full of untapped spiritual potential. Thousands of years ago, the Israelites viewed these distant places not just as physical locations, but as symbols of lands waiting to discover God's truth. Today, the Philippines fits that description perfectly. Far from the Middle East, it was once spiritually isolated, but is now a country full of faith and revival. Before Christianity arrived, Filipinos followed native beliefs, honored nature, and worshipped many local gods. Their traditions were unique and deeply spiritual. But all of that changed in the 1500s when Spanish missionaries brought the Christian message to the islands. These missionaries did more than just teach a new religion, they sparked a spiritual revolution. The Filipino people, already deeply spiritual, embraced Christianity in powerful ways. The shift wasn't just religious, it became part of the nation's identity. Over time, the Philippines became one of the biggest Christian nations in Asia. Think of the change, ancient native rituals giving way to joyful worship, prayers, and church songs. Some believe these changes fulfilled old Bible prophecies about distant islands finding faith in God. This story is more than history, it carries deep meaning even today. The Bible's ancient words about far-off lands now seem to connect with the Philippines' spiritual journey. Today, the country stands at a unique crossroads of Asian and Western cultures, and its natural beauty mirrors the deep spiritual renewal taking place. In the Philippines, the mysteries of the past and the hopes for the future come together in a powerful way. Perhaps when Isaiah said, "Sing to the Lord a new song from the ends of the earth," he was pointing toward a nation like this. The Philippines in biblical prophecy, a nation with a divine role. Could the earth itself have hinted at this island nation as a key part of God's plan for saving the world? The spiritual transformation of the Philippines has left a lasting mark. Over the years, it hasn't just accepted Christianity, it has become a shining example of faith. Festivals, prayers, and community traditions all reflect a deep love and devotion to God. Celebrations like the Feast of the Black Nazarene and the joyful Santo Nano processions are more than just cultural events. They show how faith has taken root and grown strong in the hearts of the Filipino people. These are signs that ancient prophecies may have come to life in real ways. The Philippines' influence doesn't stop at its shores. Millions of Filipinos around the world continue to share their strong faith and culture. Their journey, from being spiritually unknown to becoming a major Christian voice, raises an important question: could this incredible transformation be part of a prophecy? Could it link the ancient past to the present in a bigger story of redemption and hope? This possibility challenges how we view the world. It invites us to see that a country once seen as distant or forgotten could actually be central in God's plan. When we look at the Philippines' history, From native beliefs and rich traditions to the arrival of missionaries and today's strong Christian presence, we have to wonder, is this what the prophets were describing? What if the ends of the earth mentioned in the Bible were never meant to be empty places, but future centers of faith? This idea is both powerful and inspiring. It invites us to think differently about what makes a place sacred. It helps us see how ancient messages from the Bible might speak directly to our modern world. Think about Filipino culture today. It's a mix of native spirituality, colonial history, and a modern love for innovation and growth. This story of the Philippines in Bible prophecy isn't just about the past. It's a chance to see how God works in surprising places, even places long overlooked. It invites us to read the ancient language of the Bible with fresh eyes. Maybe the Philippines reflects a promise from God that stretches across time and distance. Everything about the islands, from the untouched beauty of the land to the passionate religious celebrations, whispers of something special. A deeper story may be waiting for us to discover if we are willing to look beyond the obvious. And here's the key question: what if the story of the Philippines in the Bible isn't just about one nation? What if it helps us understand our own spiritual journey? What if uncovering this forgotten chapter could change how we see God's plan for the world and for us? This view of God's design reveals something powerful. Every nation, including the Philippines, may have a special role in a larger plan. Imagine God as the great architect, carefully designing the future of every land and every people. In this vision, the Philippines, with its more than 7,000 islands, isn't just a dot on the map. It's an important part of God's plan to bring light and hope to the world. The Bible often speaks in symbols. To the ancient Israelites, words like ends of the earth and islands stood for mysterious places still waiting for God's message. These weren't just faraway lands, they were full of hidden promise, waiting for something greater. And when we look at a map today, we see the Philippines far from the Middle East, far from where the Bible's stories began. It truly matches the idea of a distant land once untouched by the gospel. Now picture the sun rising over the Philippines, its light spilling across the beaches and rainforests. Each ray of sunlight could represent God's presence shining on a nation that's no longer forgotten, but fully part of His purpose. The Philippines, a nation at the heart of God's redemption plan. The phrase ends of the earth often sounds like a place far away or forgotten. But what if it's actually a promise, a sign that even distant islands were meant to be part of God's great plan? This idea invites us to see the Philippines not as an isolated land, but as a chosen place for divine purpose. Before Spanish missionaries arrived in the 1500s, the Philippines had its own unique spiritual life. Indigenous people practiced animism, worshipping nature spirits and local gods. It was a rich, vibrant spiritual world that looked nothing like the faiths that came from the ancient Middle East. In that sense, the Philippines was like a hidden treasure, a land spiritually untouched, waiting for something new. When the gospel finally reached its shores, everything changed. The arrival of Christianity brought about a major spiritual transformation, reshaping the soul of the nation. Today, the Philippines is one of the biggest Christian countries in Asia. This transformation wasn't accidental. It can be seen as part of God's plan, carefully designed like a master architect building a structure made to last. Just like a skilled American architect might design a building to endure storms and changing times, God's plan for the Philippines seems to have been built to stand strong through history and spiritual shifts. Its location, at the crossroads of major trade and cultures, has helped it become more than just a Christian nation. It has become a bridge between ancient prophecy and the modern world. The Bible gives us clues to this deeper role. Verses like Isaiah 42:10, 69, and 66:19 speak of far-off lands and islands where God's glory will be revealed. These verses, filled with mystery and hope, once spoke to the imagination of ancient people. But today, when we apply those words to the map, the Philippines fits that picture with striking accuracy. This isn't just about history, it's a spiritual journey that reveals something bigger. The story of the Philippines shows us that real change, even transformation on a national scale, can be part of God's divine timing. What once seemed like a faraway place, untouched by God's word, has now become a source of light. It challenges us to think differently about what's considered holy or important. Maybe the remote islands that once lay in spiritual darkness are now leading others toward the light. This idea becomes even more powerful when we think about what's happening in the world today. In the US, from New York to Silicon Valley, more and more people are searching for a personal connection with God outside of traditional religious systems. The Philippines journey speaks to that desire. It shows how faith can be real, alive, and personal, not just a set of rules. Consider someone like Oprah Winfrey. Her story, from poverty to global influence, is deeply rooted in her spiritual search. Or look at the tech innovators in Silicon Valley, who constantly push boundaries and rethink the norm. That same spirit of transformation is seen in the spiritual rebirth of the Philippines. But this isn't just about individual change. The divine plan includes nations, too. And the Philippines, with its powerful history and deep faith, is becoming an important voice in the global story of redemption. Its journey, from ancient beliefs to a center of Christianity, shows that every nation, no matter its past, can be called into something greater. The story of the Philippines reminds us that God's blueprint includes everyone, and that even the most unexpected places can become key parts of His plan. The Philippines, a living chapter in God's plan. The story of the Philippines, shaped by both ancient traditions and missionary influence, teaches us something powerful: God's plan reaches every nation. It reminds us that faith is universal, and no land is too distant to be part of His design. Imagine a future where the rich culture of the Philippines, its colorful festivals, time-honored traditions, and deep faith shines as a source of inspiration for the world. Picture communities united in purpose, living out ancient prophecies through their resilience, their devotion, and their calling from God. This isn't just a dream. It invites us to rethink what we mean by destiny and sacred lands. What if God's plan for the nations is unfolding right in front of us? What if the transformation of the Philippines isn't just a part of history, but an ongoing process, one that holds lessons for your life, your faith, and your purpose? These questions spark curiosity. They urge us to look deeper into culture, into prophecy, and into the way God works through people and places. And as we move forward in this journey, we must ask, what truths still remain hidden? What will God reveal next? The story isn't over. In fact, it's only just beginning. And what lies ahead may challenge everything we thought we knew. The power of transformation, then and now. The process of transformation is as old as time. It's seen in stories across generations, both sacred and modern. Take, for example, the story of Joseph in the Bible. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into prison, his life was filled with pain. Yet Joseph never gave up hope. He trusted God's timing. In the end, Joseph rose to become a leader in Egypt, saving not only himself but his entire family and nation. His life proves that even the darkest seasons are part of a bigger plan. God can turn pain into purpose, loss into leadership. Joseph's journey shows us that suffering is not the end, it can be the beginning of something far greater. We see similar stories today. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty and faced immense personal hardship. But instead of letting it break her, she turned her struggles into strength. Her journey wasn't only about fame or success, it was about deep inner transformation. She found her truth, embraced her pain, and turned it into a powerful message of healing and hope. Oprah's story reminds us, the road to greatness often runs through struggle. Then there are innovators like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Their achievements in technology and business are world-changing. They worked hard, yes, but some of their decisions seem to come from something deeper, a kind of inner spark. When Musk talks about life on Mars or transforming transportation, it's like he's following a blueprint that goes beyond logic. These moments make us wonder, what if their success is more than effort? What if it's part of a divine plan being revealed through vision and courage? Transformation beyond individuals, a nation reborn. But transformation isn't just personal, it can be collective. Look at Detroit, a city once known for decline, now becoming a symbol of renewal. Its revival shows that even a city, like a person or a nation, can rise again with purpose. And this brings us back to the Philippines. A nation once spiritually unknown, now deeply faithful. A place once on the edge of world maps, now at the center of global spiritual conversations. The Philippines reminds us that no one is too far gone. No place is too hidden. God can reach into the most unlikely places and turn them into beacons of hope. So ask yourself, what part are you playing in this greater story? What might God be transforming in your life, in your family, or even in your nation? Because this isn't just a story about the Philippines. It's about all of us. It's about how divine purpose shows up in the least expected places, and how we are all invited to take part in the journey. Stay tuned. The next chapter is waiting. Transformation begins with one bold step. In Detroit, grassroots leaders have thrown out old playbooks. Instead of following traditional models, they've built stronger communities using fresh, creative approaches to faith and neighborhood life. Their work has brought new life to entire neighborhoods, rekindling pride, purpose, and a deep sense of connection among the people. Detroit's revival is more than just an urban success story, it's a symbol of what can happen when a community comes together, united by creativity, courage, and faith. It challenges us to think bigger. Transformation isn't just personal. It can lift entire communities and ripple outward to inspire even more change. From personal struggles to spiritual breakthroughs. Whether in ancient stories or modern life, true transformation always includes personal moments of courage. Across the US, many people are stepping away from traditional religious institutions, not out of rebellion, but in search of something more personal, more real. Their paths aren't easy. Many face rejection, loneliness, and confusion. Yet, they also find clarity, strength, and peace. Some describe leaving behind packed church buildings for quiet walks through Central Park or silent moments along Lake Michigan. These stories remind us that real growth often begins with a single decision, to trust your inner voice and reach for a deeper connection with God. These journeys show us something vital. When you seek with honesty and courage, even ordinary moments can become sacred and life-changing. What we can learn and how to live it. The lives of people like Joseph, Oprah Winfrey, and today's visionary leaders give us real lessons. Joseph teaches us that pain isn't pointless. Every hardship can become a stepping stone if we trust in God's timing. Oprah shows us that being true to ourselves, even when it hurts, is the key to inner strength. Her journey proves that healing comes when we embrace, not hide, our pain. Innovators like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos reveal that when you act on a bold, even mystical, vision, what once seemed impossible becomes real. These aren't just inspiring stories, they offer real guidance for how to live. Start small. Build your own daily spiritual habits, simple, personal, and powerful. It could be 5 minutes of morning meditation or a peaceful walk in a nearby park. These aren't just routines, they are sacred moments. Moments where you can hear God's voice without distractions. Find your people and share your story. In today's world, spiritual community is everywhere. From online groups to local gatherings, places like San Francisco and Austin are home to thriving spiritual movements that don't follow tradition, but they follow truth. These spaces allow people to connect, be honest, and grow without judgment. Surrounding yourself with people who support your journey is essential. They help you stand strong when others don't understand your path and remind you that your voice matters. And never underestimate the power of your story. Whether you've survived heartbreak, faced loss, or discovered unexpected hope, your story matters. When you share it, you give others courage. You create a ripple of inspiration that can reach further than you imagine. You are part of something bigger. The path of transformation, whether in Detroit, the Philippines, or your own heart, is a sacred journey. It's a journey of discovery, of healing, of waking up to your purpose. So ask yourself, what's one step I can take today toward deeper connection? What part of my story can inspire someone else? Because this isn't just about change. It's about calling. It's about becoming who you were meant to be and helping others do the same. And the journey is just beginning. Transformation is not a solo journey. Sharing our stories reminds us of something powerful. Real transformation isn't something we go through alone. It's a deeply human experience that connects us all. The answers we seek don't come from avoiding hardship, but from having the courage to face it, trust the process, and believe that every struggle is part of a bigger plan, a divine story still unfolding. Challenges aren't just obstacles. They are the very moments that shape us. They lead us forward, helping us become who we are meant to be. When you step away from the traditional path, choosing a new, non-traditional spiritual path is not easy. The hardest parts aren't always on the outside, they're inside. Doubt, guilt, and fear can cloud your thinking. It feels like standing at the base of a massive mountain, surrounded by the noise of the city, unsure if you are strong enough to climb. You might wonder, am I making a mistake? What if leaving behind the old ways is wrong? These doubts are normal, and they're often the very signs that you are standing at the edge of something meaningful. Think of people like Barack Obama. Despite constant public criticism, he stayed calm and committed to his vision. His example reminds us, even the most admired leaders face inner battles. What makes them stand out is their ability to keep going despite them. Facing criticism from the outside. When you take a different spiritual path, some people won't understand. Friends or family may call you lost or rebellious. You might feel judged or rejected by society. Consider Elon Musk. His bold ideas often get mocked. But the resistance he faces doesn't mean he's wrong. It means he's pushing boundaries. The same may be true for you. Sometimes people criticize what they can't yet understand. It's like standing in the middle of a noisy New York street, honks, voices, and distractions all around, trying to listen to your own heartbeat. It's not easy, but it's possible. And it's worth it. Turning challenges into growth. So how do you move forward when the journey feels overwhelming? Start by building a strong, resilient mindset. Create simple spiritual habits to center yourself. Meditate. Write in a journal. Practice mindfulness. These actions ground you. Picture yourself sitting in Central Park early in the morning. The city is quiet. Leaves rustle in the breeze. You breathe deeply and let your thoughts settle. This is how you reconnect with yourself. Journaling is especially powerful. It lets you look back and see how far you've come, even when life feels like it's standing still. Each page becomes proof that setbacks are really setups for something greater. Finding your people. You don't have to do this alone. Today, spiritual communities exist far beyond traditional spaces. Online forums, local meetups, and retreats are full of people just like you, people choosing a different way, yet walking the same deeper journey. Imagine joining a vibrant online group, filled with voices from San Francisco to Austin, people openly sharing their unconventional spiritual paths. These groups offer real support, practical advice, and heartfelt encouragement. They remind you, you are not alone. You are part of something bigger. Your story matters. When you share your journey, your doubts, your wins, your turning points, you give others permission to do the same. You become a light for someone still searching. Your transformation story, no matter how messy or unfinished, can spark change in someone else's life. And when we come together, sharing not just ideas, but truth, experience, and hope, we create something greater than any one of us could do alone. Reframing setbacks as stepping stones. True leadership reminds us that even when the path is hard, it's also full of possibility. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is learning to see setbacks not as failures, but as fuel. When someone criticizes you, pause. Instead of reacting, ask, what can I learn from this? How can this help me grow? This mindset shift can turn even the harshest feedback into a tool for transformation. Think of it like sculpting. Each strike of the chisel, though sharp, is shaping something beautiful underneath. That's how many great leaders evolve. Barack Obama, for instance, often used public criticism not to shrink, but to sharpen his focus and clarify his purpose. When we see challenges as essential parts of our evolution, we stop fearing them and start learning from them. Strengthening your mindset daily. Staying grounded and focused, even in doubt, is key. Simple daily practices like affirmations and visualization can make all the difference. Picture this, you are in your New York apartment. The city hums outside your window. Before diving into the day, you pause and say, I am resilient. I trust my path. I am aligned with the divine. These affirmations quiet the noise. They remind you that your journey is sacred, even when it feels uncertain. Solitude matters too. A slow walk through Central Park. A few deep breaths by the water. These small moments realign you with your higher purpose. Now think back. Can you remember a time you felt completely lost, like the weight of the world was pressing down? What if that moment wasn't a detour, but a doorway? What if every painful experience was actually preparing you for the next chapter, stronger, wiser, and more awake? What if obstacles are actually invitations? Before we move into the next segment, sit with this question. What if your greatest obstacles are really hidden opportunities waiting to be unlocked? Imagine every criticism, every doubt, every failure as a key that, when turned with courage, unlocks a deeper level of growth, clarity, and purpose. It's a humbling thought. But it's also empowering. Because it means you've never been off track, you've only been in training. Beyond the walls of tradition. Everything we've explored points to one powerful truth. The traditional church is no longer the only doorway to divine connection. For many, real spiritual freedom comes not through old rituals, but through an unfiltered, direct relationship with God. That freedom shows up in daily life. A quiet morning meditation. A walk along Lake Michigan's shoreline. A moment of stillness with a virtual prayer group. These aren't just habits. They're sacred brushstrokes, together painting the masterpiece of your spiritual path. Ancient stories, timeless lessons. Let the stories we've explored continue guiding you. Joseph's journey, betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned, could have ended in bitterness. But through trust and patience, he rose to power in Egypt. His life shows us every hardship carries the seed of divine promotion. Then there's Oprah. Her rise from trauma and poverty to global impact wasn't powered by perfection, but by authenticity. She turned vulnerability into strength and struggle into purpose. Her story is a modern-day mirror of ancient wisdom, a reminder that embracing your whole self, scars and all, can lead to extraordinary transformation. The divine spark of inner empowerment. True empowerment begins within. And some of today's boldest innovators, people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, remind us of that. Their groundbreaking achievements didn't come from strategy alone. They were sparked by something deeper. A kind of inner clarity. A mystical certainty. A divine spark that dares to transform the impossible into the inevitable. Now look at communities like Detroit, once written off as symbols of decline. Today, Detroit pulses with rebirth. Grassroots leaders, unbound by outdated systems, have reawakened neighborhoods. Proving that collective renewal isn't just possible, it's powerful. These stories remind us. Transformation isn't reserved for the elite. It's already in motion inside you. Anchoring into the sacred every day. So how do we bring that energy into our own lives? It starts small. It starts intentional. Begin each day with gratitude. In the quiet of your New York apartment, try saying, "Every setback is a setup for success." Let every moment become a chance to connect directly with the divine. A short meditation. A mindful walk through your local park. These are not just habits, they are rituals. They root you in your unique spiritual identity. They remind you that your strength, your clarity, your power, they've always come from within. Your gifts are sacred tools. Your divine gifts aren't random talents. They are sacred tools meant to transform your life and elevate those around you. Real wealth. It's not in what you own. It's in how you serve. In the hope you inspire. In the resilience you pass on. When you choose to align with your inner truth, Even your self-doubt becomes a teacher. Every critique becomes a chance to sharpen your vision. Imagine the ripple effect when you live this way. Your growth becomes a signal. Your strength becomes a spark. And your transformation inspires others to believe in theirs. That's the essence of true empowerment. Turning obstacles into stepping stones. Turning resistance into renewal. Turning your journey into a beacon. Lessons from visionary lives. Think of Barack Obama, how he stayed calm, focused, and grounded despite constant scrutiny. His clarity didn't come from approval, it came from purpose. Look at the bold innovation pouring out of Silicon Valley. Vision plus resilience is a formula that shatters limits. So now the question becomes, what if the challenges you face aren't walls, but doors? What if they're not roadblocks, but keys? You are the living masterpiece. Picture your life as an ever-evolving masterpiece. Each brushstroke, each misstep, each triumph is part of a larger divine vision. When you embrace your pain as part of your becoming, you unlock a deeper truth. Transformation is for everyone, especially those bold enough to trust the process. So pause and ask yourself, what hidden miracles are waiting when I fully embrace my divine potential? How will I use my sacred gifts to create a legacy of hope, resilience, and transformation? The answers are already within you. Not in avoiding hardship, but in using every challenge as fuel. Step forward. Step bold. Let your light lead the way. Because every moment of struggle isn't the end. It's the start of a miraculous journey waiting to unfold.